Well, here we are again today, working on a 1995 Ford Mustang. As you can see, convertible top. This car has the 3.8 V6 engine in it, and today we're going to be working on replacing the radiator. It has a leak that can't be repaired, and once I get it out, I'll show you where it is. So the first step is to remove the plastic cowling that covers the radiator, and as you can see, there are these little plastic grommets that hold it in place, and there's quite a few of them that need to be removed. Most of them, once you take them out, probably will not be able to be used again, but you can try and see what you can do. Now that the protective cover cowling is off, you can see that there will be the actual radiator mounts, one on both sides, to be removed, and also the radiator overflow bottle has a couple of bolts here. There'll be a connection on the back. There's some wiring for the electric fan that'll need to be removed, hoses, top and bottom, and also you're really going to have to pay attention to the transmission lines that are part of the transmission cooler that's built into the radiator. For these bolts, get out your metric set. It's going to be an 8mm bolt on this one. There isn't any electrical that you really need to be worried about. However, there's a little tiny bolt back up underneath this front cowling right here. You will have to go ahead and remove the battery, so get started on that. My suggestion is to use some small Ziploc plastic bags and some duct tape or some sort of tape. Once you take off the transmission fittings, they will tend to leak, so if you cover them with the plastic bags and wrap them up, it'll just help to keep your work area a little bit cleaner and neater. So as a side note, this power steering pump needs to be replaced, and this would have been a great time to do it. However, it's another about $200 that I just don't have right now, so we'll have to leave that for another time. But as you can see, this is a very clean approach to getting into that power steering pump area. The electric fan needs to be removed, and it's held in place by two small 6mm bolts, one on each side. The bottom just, you can't see it, but the bottom just slips into a groove that's down located on the bottom. Now that I have the electric fan out, I can get the bottom transmission line off a little bit easier. Sorry, I made a mistake. I kept saying that it was a 6mm socket. Nope, it's an 8mm socket. By now, somebody probably has noticed that I haven't mentioned anything about draining the radiator. Well, this valve, petcock valve down at the bottom of the radiator, is very difficult to get to from underneath the car. The car sits so low to the ground, and when you open it, you end up dripping the water all over you. So I've waited to this point to do this, and what I did is I took the overflow radiator hose and attached it to the drain valve, and I can open it up from here and let it drain out now. Also, you will need to take off the bottom radiator hose once you've drained out most of the water. And as you can see, it's draining into, I'm just using a little drain oil pan because it's low enough to fit underneath the car. I'll probably have to empty it once or twice. Now that the radiator's out, I can tell you what's going on. While I don't know for sure where it's leaking from, I'm pretty sure that it's leaking where this side reservoir attaches to the fins. A little hard to see, but someplace along this seam, and it's something that can't be repaired. So I ended up just replacing the radiator. Got it from Rock Auto, and it was less than $100. Okay, so we have the new radiator here, and there will be a few pieces that we will need to take off in exchange from the old radiator. The transmission line fittings on the bottom, one on the top, will need to be added to the new radiator. In addition, the drain plug on the side looks like it may or may not need to be installed. Now that I have the transmission line fittings taken out of the old radiator, I've wrapped them in plumber's tape, Teflon tape, to ensure a nice clean fit. This is the first time that I've ever replaced the radiator, so this is the first time that I've taken apart this transmission line. If you've done it more than once, I would advise just replacing these fittings because the threads do end up getting worn, but I'm going to reuse these.